Look at this.
Is it his basement?
We got him shackled to his office.
The home studio. Yeah, welcome back in. It's
you know what? Course, it would be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It would be way more entertaining if my kids weren't at school today. I'll tell you that much. Remember those days doing TV from your basement? I mean, I've been through some battles, man.
I remember it well. Listen, we're 2 hours and 20 minutes away from the official deadline, and I want to ask you, Colby. We talked a little bit about Pittsburgh's situation. Enough on that. Let's get to the top Stanley Cup contenders. We've seen some significant moves with Gensel and now with Tyler Toffoli. Who would you say is the Stanley Cup favorite right now for you?
If you've been watching, I would have to say Colorado. Like the way they move, their top guys are just insane. The additions that they've made as well, like with some key guys through there, like Duhaime's a great pickup, not a guy that you maybe point at and go wow, but he'll come up big for them. He's that type of player in the playoffs. Trennan, those kind of guys, Walker that they added from Philly, and then they're going to get Nichushkin back and Landeskog possibly. I've heard Biz talking about this too. Like this team is just stacked, and like those three up top too. Looking at their power play as well. Parise's in the mix, but they've got speed. They're aggressive. They dictate majority of the time during games. Like it's them. It's up to them if they're going to get it done. They're a team that looks to me like they're pretty unstoppable. Look at all these guys.
No, it's true. I mean, Biz and I, we both covered the game on Wednesday too, right? I mean, you've got Makar, McKinnon, and Rantanen that all produce on 4-point nights on that night. And that was a big game for the Red Wings on Wednesday. So I'd agree, certainly a huge favorite, certainly in Colorado. But, I mean, Colby, if you shift then to the East, is there another team that you like on the East in terms of being perhaps a favorite from your point of view?
Well, for me, I don't know if a favorite, but a team that's always been a favorite. They're definitely not this year, unless you just watch Kucherov strictly. But Tampa Bay, like Sergachev gets hurt, and they've always been a team that can make a splash. They've gone and got Duclair, but there's still that hole on their back end. And I kind of see them as a sneaky team still if they can muster enough to get in the playoffs right now with where they're at and what they're going to do. So I guess right now today I'd keep my eyes on Colorado, on Tampa Bay, and see if they're got some tricks left up their sleeve and what they can possibly do. But they're always seem to be there, and they know how to win, and they've got guys that know how to hang in there. And you look at a 7-game series and what they could kind of do. But I do think that on the back end with Sergachev and his injury, that what could happen possibly to them and what they could add to maybe make them a team that's scary.
Colby, another team that you probably see a lot in the Metro Division that they're kind of quiet right now, and they're kind of my sleeper, even though they're in first place in the division, is the New York Rangers. What do you think about that team? Yeah. Like, that's a good-looking team on paper. And I just noticed Kelly's not even sitting with us right now, but like Shesterkin and Quick and Net, like they have, it seems like everything on paper, but they can never really get to, the end. But what do you think about them?
Yeah, I think additions to their bottom six is really what you look at with them. But they're big, they're fast, their D are mobile and physical. They can produce. Special teams can be a major factor for them, obviously. And then you mentioned their tandem and net. And I think if you look strictly just at the Metro right now with what Carolina has done, and Carolina's like always there, and oddly enough, they finally have made a move to go get like a game breaker. They had Pacioretty. Unfortunately, he was injured. I thought he would have been a perfect guy for them last year. But, for the Rangers, it's Carolina and the Rangers that are the kings of the Metro. And I think they've got enough of what it takes to get it done and go on a big run, obviously, this year. And I think excitement around those teams is huge right now. And I think the difference maker with the Rangers is their ability from their back end with Fox, obviously. But, you look at the mobility that they have and the size and the physicality factor with Trouba and others through their lineup. They could be a scary team from a lot of different factors.
They have the best D-core besides Vegas, I think, right now. If you look at Schneider and Lindgren and K'Andre Miller.
Well, they were already loaded, and they pick up Chad Ruido, and you're familiar with him, Stanley Cup champion with the Penguins. Yeah. I was going to ask you about him, and I know you typically like to keep it pretty positive, and I don't want to jam you up. Recently on the Chicklets podcast, Witt mentioned a current player in a playoff position calling the Winnipeg Jets frauds, a team that he thinks are going to get bounced in the first round. Do you have any current team in a playoff position that you view as a fraud?
Oh, a fraud team?
Yeah,
good
fraud.
question.
The word fraud.
That's a loaded question, Biz. And if I had to say anything right now about a fraud,
Yeah, say something
I would have to
controversial.
go after you and your Toronto Maple Leafs, Biz.
Here we go.
But we're done with Colby Armstrong. We're done. Thanks for joining the panel today.
Okay.
What's so fraudulent
waiting
about
for
them?
something.
What's so fraudulent about them? Did you watch the game last night?
They lost.
I like the pushback.
I don't care
I
about
like-
them losing.
I like
They sent
the way
the
they've
message.
been pushing back lately.
That's what I'm saying.
They did push.
I like it.
Why else?
I want them to show a little bit more in-your-face type of play. I like the little message sending. I like the battle level. I think the Leafs, but we all know when it comes down to it, and we talked even Justin Williams on our panel on Monday nights, is the mind bomb that is the Boston Bruins, buddy. And they just got the big rig, and they just got a few guys, and they're stacking up and they're loading up. Busy
It doesn't
boys, so you
matter.
better
It's
get
chess,
ready.
not checkers. Now Don Sweeney's making moves to react to Toronto. That's exactly what we wanted. Chess, not checkers. Go Leafs, go, baby. Leafs in 5 against the Bruins. We're done with Colby Armstrong. We'll see you on Chicklets Game Notes.
1 o'clock live coming up.
And there he is. Yeah.